Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make these Macrame cross earrings, and they look like this. So they're nice and delicate, nice and small enough for the earrings because we're doing macrame. So they sit like this, and they're quite nice and simple to make as well. And you can obviously make a larger version as well if you want to make a pendant to match. Just use some larger materials. So this is what I'm going to show you how to make today. So if you want to learn how to make it, then stay tuned. And here are the things that we're going to use to make these earrings. Now first off we'll need our cord, and in this case I'm working with some nylon cord, and it's about a 0.4 mil in thickness. So just a very fine cord or thread that you have, something that nylon would do brilliantly as well. And then also here I have the findings that I'm going to use. These are just the earring findings, and then some jump rings as well. And then finally I have the beads, and these are 2mm spacer beads, just a silver colour. And obviously all you need to make sure of with this is that you're using some beads that your cord will go through twice. So 2 lengths of your cord will go through, but also that they'll fit inside the little frame that we're going to make for the beads. So get all your materials together and let's get started. So to start making the earrings, what we need to do is we need to cut all our cord. And in this case what I have is 8 lengths of my cord, and it's about 30 centimeters each. So that's all we need. We don't need much because it's just a small earring that we're making, and we're not even going to use these whole lengths. We just need to make sure that we have enough to work with as well. So that's why we need to cut all these, and then what we need to do is set them up. And to do that I'm going to start with one cord here. So I'm going to grab one first, and then I'm just going to put a regular overhand knot on each end, towards each end. And you don't need to tighten it too tight, just a gentle knot. Just like this. And then place that onto my board. And I'm working on a Project Macrame board here, and then I'm just using these T-pins as well to help me keep my work fastened down, easy to work with. And then I'm going to use these T-pins and actually put them through the knot. And the reason that I'm putting them through the knot instead of just the cord itself is it makes it a little bit more secure, and if you just put it through the cord, chances are it won't really be fastened well enough, and also you run a high risk of damaging the cord. So I'm just going to put them through the knot, and that's going to work a little bit better. Just like this. And then what I'm going to do is we need to go through all the other cords that we have and attach them to this. So take one at a time, and then I just put the 2 ends together like this. And up here where the loop is on my finger, it's roughly the middle of it. So keep hold of that, and then we need to put this underneath the one on the board, because what we're doing is we're attaching this to that holding cord on the board here using the lark's head knot. So I'm going to put the loop here underneath, then come back over the top with that, like this, and then put my fingers through the loop, and then grab the ends and pull them through. So just like that, and then you tighten it gently and you get something here that looks like a bit like a pretzel shape, I think. And then tighten that, and now that's attached. And you just put that to the side and go through all the other cords and repeat. So now that I have them all attached here, so now we can take the original one off the board again. And then we just need to undo these knots again. So now that I've undone those knots as well, we have all our cords attached to that original holding cord. So what we need to do is bring the ends of our holding cord together. So in the middle, where all the cords are here, it's going to end up forming like a circle. So we need to then also make sure that these cords are sitting in the middle of the original cord. So we have roughly equal lengths all the way around. So as you can see, it's going to sit like this. Make sure they're kind of pulled nice and tight, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this by hand just because we're just doing a simple knot. You can fasten it down if you need to, but there isn't really that much to fasten down onto yet, because obviously you can see you just have those cords attached. But what I'm going to do is make a double half hitch to bring those 2 ends together. So I'm going to take my right one and bring it over, so that's going to be my holding cord, and then the left one and bring it underneath, so that's my working cord. And then I'm just going to go around my finger and through the loop to make a half hitch, and then as I tighten it, I'm holding my one coming from the right side, that's the holding cord, as tight as I can, and then as I go and tighten this, I just like to kind of hold my finger on the circle in the middle there. Just going to hold everything in place, and then do another one to make it a double half hitch, and then tighten that, just like that. And it might be a little bit fiddly, but just get it together like this. And then you have all the other cords attached here, and then what you'll find is if you split them out, because we have a circle in the middle there now, so you can kind of separate them out just like this. So you have 4 cords coming to each side, and there you can basically see it's going to be the basic cross shape. So now that we have the center part ready here, we can now start working our way outward and create each section of the cross. So just kind of keep the cords out like this to each their own section to keep them organized and out of the way for the one you're working with. I'm going to work one at a time, and then I'm going to grab my pins here and just put them down through the center part just to keep it fastened in place so we can work with it comfortably. So like this, bring the other ones out of the way, and then we're just working with one section here of the 4 cords to begin with. So you have your 4 cords here coming from the 2 lark's head knots from the center. So what we need to do is create the first little section, and we do that by taking, as you can see from the middle, you'll be able to see your cords are kind of naturally coming out to where they sit. So I'm just going to keep them in that position, so you can kind of see these 2 are coming out in the middle and then 2 on the outside. So what I'm going to do is just start with one side at a time. We'll be doing the same thing on both sides. So I'm going to take the middle one from here towards the left, and then bring that over the outside one. And then the one that comes underneath is the working cord. So I'm going to go around my finger and through the loop with that one, and tighten that. And once more to make it a double half hitch, and tighten that. Like that. And then to the other side we're going to do the same thing. So the inside one of these 2 goes over the other one, so that's the holding cord, and then the one underneath is the working cord, and that goes around your finger and through the loop, and tighten all the way up till it won't go any further, and once more for the double half hitch. So like that. And then you have your 2 cords that originally were from the outside coming in towards the middle now, just like this. So now what we need to do is actually add our first bead. And so to help me do that, because it can be a little bit difficult to thread both cords or threads through if you have very small beads like this. Now I do know that it will go through, but what you can do to help you do it is we need to kind of condition the ends a little bit, because obviously otherwise you can see they're going to fray and you're not really going to be able to get them through. So what I like to do is take a lighter and then just singe the end, and then just roll it between my fingers. Like that. And obviously you want to be careful doing this, because this does get quite hot. But then you have a little point to your cord or thread there, and it almost works like a bit of a needle, and it makes it a lot easier to get through, because it's gotten harder because of it. So like I said, a bit like a needle, but also it just collects all the ends so you don't get any fraying. So put that through, do the same on the other end here, and then get that through as well. So I now have the bead on both of those inside pieces of cord, and then what we just need to do is push it all the way up to where those cords are coming out from, so just below the other knots that you just did before. So that's going to sit right there in the middle of the little frame what we're going to do. So what we need to do is again split them up so they're coming to each their own side, like this. Go back to working with one side at a time, and then we need the one coming from the bead going underneath the outside one, and then we need to do a double half hitch with these. So around your finger and through the loop with the underneath one, so the working cord, and then pull it nice and tight all the way up. And once more, so it's a double half hitch, like that. And then that's that side. We'll do the same on the other side. Get the one from the bead go underneath the outside one, and then around your finger and through the loop, and pull it tight around your finger and through the loop, and then tighten it. So now that's both sides done. So you can kind of see the framing around the bead now. Then we just need to close up this very bottom point because that's still open. So we just take one over the other, and I just recommend that it doesn't matter what side you do, just whatever you find natural. I normally take my right one over, so the left one is my working cord that comes underneath, and just try and stay consistent throughout the whole piece, because then you'll get a more consistent look to it. But if you have a side where it just comes natural, just let that happen every time. Do a double half hitch here as well, around your finger and through the loop, and then tighten that, so you've now closed up that little gap. So that's your first little section and your first bead at it. Now what you need to do is move all the way around each section here, because like I said, we kind of separated them out to this, so that each come to their own side. Move the way all the way around the center piece, and then do the exact same thing. So now that I've gone all the way around here, I have 4 sections, 1 bead on each here to start each section, and then as you can see, you've got this little, almost like a flower shape, just with 4 petals on it instead of more. And then all we need to do now is we just need to continue each section for however long we want it to be. So in this case, well, I'm just continuing working with this one now just to show you how we do. What you can do as well is I'm going to add a bead to each section like I've just done there, but you can also add beads to the outside, and I'm just going to show you that. So these are the cords that are furthest to the outside now. I'm just going to put a bead onto that, and let it drop all the way down, and just the same with the other side. Just like that. So we now have one on each side, and then we just want to basically repeat what we just did in the beginning. So the inside one's here, 1 to each side, so we start again, work with both sides, just start with one of them, and the outside one we need to have below the inside one on this side, and that's going to be the working cord, and that's the one I just added my bead to. So again, do a double half hitch around your finger and through the loop, and then tighten that. And then as I tighten it, I make sure the bead stays on like the outside of this section. And then one more to get the double half hitch, just like this. So now the cords have basically switched position from the outside to the inside. Same with the other side, take the outside one underneath the next one, and then do your double half hitch, making sure that that bead stays on the outside. So just like that. And there we have the same thing that we had in the first section. Cords are switched place, and we now have these two coming in towards the middle. And this is now where, again, on these 2 cords in the middle, you want to then add your bead to them. So now that you've added the bead onto those 2 cords in the middle, just push it all the way down just like before, so it sits right there in between the walls that you're kind of building around the bead, and go back to separating the ones coming from the bead, and one side at a time we're working with, bring the one from the bead underneath, and then take it around your finger and through the loop, and then tighten it around your finger and through the loop, and tighten. So that's the one side. Go over to the other side. The one coming out from the bead goes underneath the outside one, and then around your finger and through the loop, around your finger and through the loop, like that. So that's the 2 sides around, kind of caging in the bead. Repeat, we just need to close up that gap at the very bottom, and then like I said before, just whatever you find natural, doesn't matter what side you start with, just try and stay consistent, do the same throughout. So I always take my left one underneath, that's going to be the working cord, and then do a double half hitch just with that. So just like that, and that's now the very next section. So as you can see, you've then built that up a little bit, and then this is really all you do. You continue doing this for however long you want this section to be, go around to the other sections, and then obviously some of them you want to do a little bit longer and some of them a bit shorter, and that's how we then get that cross shape to form. So just keep doing this. You can do one section at a time, move your way around until you reach the desired look. So I've now continued building my sections, and what I've ended up with is on the long end here of our cross, I've ended up with 4 sections of beads, and in the short ones and all of them I have 2, and that's how I like it to look like this. You can obviously change it up, do whatever you want until you're happy with yours, but then what we need to do now is basically the cross is finished, we just need to finish off the ends but then also add something to the top here like a jump ring so we can then actually use it. And to do that, what I'm going to do is just turn this around because I want my jump ring to sit at the top bit of the cross here. So you can also finish off all the other cords now to kind of, if they're a bit in the way. But I'm going to just work with that, and then what we need to get out is one jump ring now. And you either want to work with closed jump rings because obviously otherwise your cord can go through, or if not, just make sure your jump ring is really nicely tight and closed. And also, if you're a bit still worried about if it's an open jump ring but you close it as good as you can, but either you don't think it's good enough or you try and the cord actually slips out, what you can always do is get a little bit of glue right on the join where the jump ring is open, and just get a tiny bit of glue in there, kind of basically in between where they meet, and then let that dry completely. And then once that's dry, it acts a little bit like a closed jump ring. So you can use that. Just make sure the glue dries completely before you do that. And you won't really be able to see it if you use like a clear glue or something. But then what I'm going to do is get my jump ring, and I'm just going to work with these 2, kind of from this section is the 2 middle cords. And then put my jump ring onto there. And then we basically just need to make some knots around this jump ring so it sits nice and securely in place. And again, just do some half hitches or regular knots really. Tighten that, and I like to do a few just to make sure. So I've done 2 now, and then I also like to go back through the jump ring one more time. However you think it's going to look nice and also be secure. So go back through it, and then you can go to the back of it and then make another knot, 1 or 2 knots on there. So just like this, and then just 1 more. Just like that. So I now feel that's going to be nice and secure, and I'm happy with how my jump ring sits, because if you can kind of see, it's sitting like this, so it's open from the side and it naturally sits that way. So actually what I'm going to do now is just get a little bit of glue before I cut off these cords. It's just to secure them in place, because obviously if you cut them off you can maybe risk things coming undone without any glue on, even though you have knots. What I'm going to use for this is a GS Hypo Cement. I like using this for things like this where it's Macrame, because it has a really fine nozzle tip to it there, so you can really get the glue right where you want it to go without getting it all over the place, and it dries clear as well so you can't see it. Then what I'm going to do is just put a bit of glue around those knots that I did right here at the top of the jump ring and where the cords are coming out. So this is just to secure it in place so we can cut off the excess cord, and you only literally just need to put a little bit on, not that much at all. And then when you've done that, you feel the knot up there is going to be secure. That's when I then go all the way around as well, where the rest of my cords are coming out, both on the front and the back. Just a little bit, don't need to overload it, just enough till you feel like it's nice and going to be nice and secure. So just like this all the way around, and then leave it to dry for a bit, and then once it's dried, go in and cut off all the excess cord. So I've now gotten rid of all my excess cord, and then I've just attached my earring finding to that jump ring at the top, and then it sits nicely like this, and it's our cross is done now. So I now have this one to match the one I've already done, and there we have the set, the earring set with the nice little macrame crosses with some nice embellishment with the beads. So that's how you make these nice delicate little earrings. You can obviously make these in a larger version as well, make it like a pendant maybe, and just use some larger cord and some larger beads. That will work just as well. So otherwise though, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make a little Easter design, and this is a wirework ring with some bunny ears on it, and they look like this. And here I just have two versions of it, but it's the same basic principle. This is just where you have both ears sticking up like this, and then it'll sit like this on your hand, your finger. Really cute. Perfect for Easter. And this one, I just flicked one of the ears a little bit to give it a little